Everybody, how you doing out there in YouTube land, Facebook land, Twitter land, whatever. Everybody. Um, RMJ Movie Reviews Incorporated back with the review that I said I would give to you. This one is actually not associated with my Black History Month movie reviews, but this one is actually of, and I take a deep breath inside, the reboot of 1987's Robocop. And the reason I say the first film is because this doesn't seem to be a reimagining of a character, or I guess if you could call it a franchise, because technically there was only two successful films, but not a reimagining of a franchise, but particularly the story of the first film from 1987. I'm not going to get into comparisons. I'm going to talk about the 87 original throughout this, but I'm not going to get into a beat by beat, this did this and this did that. I'll talk about that here and there, but I'm not, I'll just give it to you straight. It's the Robocop 2014 version. It's an okay film. I didn't hate it. Again, like I've said in my Point Break remake talk, that I grew up in the 80s, 90s, so I love the hardcore actioners, bloody, profane action films of the 80s, all of which Paul Verhoeven's Total Recall was. Not Total Recall, Robocop was. This version is its own film. It basically retells the story, and it does like every other remake that's came out. It changes little things, like Lewis, who was Murphy's partner in the first one, is now a black dude now, and this is PG-13. The only thing I can say is it's an okay movie. It really, I think it's too long. I think it runs about an hour 50 minutes, which I just thought was too long. The story actually does take its time to get to know the characters and all of that. I will say that if it was not for the participation of the great Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton, and Samuel L. Jackson, then this would be a B movie. It just wouldn't get it would not get the recognition because Gary Oldman, who plays like this scientist who helps to turn Murphy into Robocop. Gary Oldman really plays the role with he's almost like Commissioner Gordon from the Christopher Nolan Batman movies, and he just changed his job and became a scientist in this new Robocop because he plays the role with complete heart. And Michael Keaton, it's really nice to see Michael Keaton back on the big screen again, because even though, like everybody in the world, the years go on, people age and all that kind of stuff, and you can tell that this is not the Michael Keaton of Batman '89 or oh god, even Batman Returns in 1992. But what I love is that Michael Keaton still has that very, he's still got that crazy look in his eye. You know what I mean? And he can twerk those eyebrows and project so much with so little. Michael Keaton still has the charisma. Again, an older guy now, but he still has that charisma. Samuel L. Jackson, delivers as usual. I don't really have anything else to say about the rest of the cast. I will say I do like the fact that this pushes the boundaries of the PG-13. It's got some nice little creepy stuff in it. There's one creepy moment in particular. I thought it was really creepy where Murphy actually went and talked to his son, and like he walks in and because Murphy doesn't get killed in this version, he's actually still alive, but he's like amputated and all this kind of crazy stuff. But he's like his dad, but he's walking towards the couch in this machine bite, and I thought it was creepy when I was watching. I said, man, this is a creepy scene. And then there's this other scene that's pretty graphic for a PG-13, but they reveal Murphy to basically just be a head that's like attached to this machine, kind of like the Borg in Star Trek First Contact. That's pretty much what Murphy looks like in this thing. it's an okay movie. I wasn't particularly. I think the things that really more moved me in the movie was basically every scene that had Gary Oldman, Michael Keaton, and Samuel Jackson. Those scenes kept me interested. When they were not on screen, I pretty much. I wouldn't say I hated it or anything, but I just. They're the only reason that this movie is even getting nice reviews. Let's go on to why this is not totally successful. This is very it pays reverence to the 1987. You know, there's the little news wave commercial flashes in between, and it attempts to have a sense of kind of a little bit of satire, but not quite as hard as the 87 film. It is very reverent in that sense. It plays the original Robocop theme very briefly, and it doesn't sound as good as the old one. Where it fails is the fact that it's forgettable. You know, it's ultimately forgettable. The scenes that work for me were like the ones I told you with the veteran actors, but outside of them, the action sequences didn't do anything for me. Yeah, the special effects look great, but the action sequences just didn't do anything for me. I did not find them to be exciting until the very end of the movie, when there's like, they're not called Ed 209 in this one, but in the original one it was Ed 209, but that's basically what they are. And Robocop is kind of like fighting two of them, and I thought that was kind of a cool sequence, and it was kind of borderline exciting, but this is ultimately just a forgettable rehash. And it's its own movie. It's its own thing. I'm not gonna call it a rehash. It's its own original movie. But the fact that, you know, I just wonder, does Hollywood have any originality left? You know, because there's some really good special effects here. There's some interesting story in here, but it's the fact that it's Robocop, and they're just retelling the story of that 1987 movie. And I just think that there's so much creativity here on the screen. There's so much, you know, it seems like they really wanted to do this right, but why can't you put it into something original? You know, why? Just do something different. You know, we have the first 87 movie, and people could say Robocop a franchise, but it's not really a franchise because there was only one good Robocop movie, because Robocop 2, we all know, although it's got some cool action sequences in it, that movie made some really bizarre choices with kids and stuff, and it's just really bizarre. And Robocop 3 was just a cluster. You guys know the word from the total beginning. And then there were two bizarre Canadian TV films or whatever. And then we had the cartoon that I shamefully admit I used to watch when I was 9 years old. You know, so really there was no franchise. There was nothing else. I mean, really, they only have one great Robocop film. You know, so I just think that there's a lot of goodwill will here, and I see the creativity. Why can't you do it? Put it for something original. Because this movie's forgettable, and then you make it PG-13, and Robocop is set in a brutal, realistic reality. You can't update it and make it PG-13. So it's just a forgettable movie. It's a harmless, you know, remake. It didn't make me angry, you know, but it ultimately is forgettable. 25 years from now, when people say Robocop, we're still going to be thinking of, can you fly, Bobby? You know, or when he shoots the guy in the balls. I mean, that's what we'll remember. We're not going to remember this 2014. And that's kind of what bothers me, is how cynical Hollywood is now. You know, of course, you know, I see Michael Keaton and Gary Oldman and Samuel Jackson on TV, and they're like, the script is so great, and I understand they're doing their duty as actors, you know, promoting the movie and selling it. That's all cool. I know they're doing what they're supposed to do. But after all the little kiddies go see it this weekend, nobody's going to remember this movie. I mean, I just saw it a couple of hours ago, and I've already forgotten a lot of it. And again, not saying it's bad. It's just, you know, there's some cool things in here, and it's just like, why not take that coolness and develop an original idea and put it towards that instead of trying to just, regurgitate something from 25 years ago or whatever it is. Why just leave it be? I don't get it, man. It's guaranteed. Here's the thing with these remakes. Another thing I want to go to too is the score. The score in this movie is totally forgettable. I mean, and also, I don't know what it is about those films in the 80s where the action sequences, like they have that scene where Robocop walked into the factory and he got Clarence Bond again or whatever, and he shot all the people. You really just have a sense of where people are coming from, where Robocop's shooting, the music is exciting, and you're in there. You want Robocop to get Clarence because he killed him, And in this movie, they don't even have like really a direct protagonist. There's kind of, it may be this guy, that guy, this person, or whatever. But even they have a scene that's very similar to that scene in the original. In this one, there's all these quick cuts and it's not aired out. It's not exciting. It's just quickie and cutty, and he shoots it. And yeah, it's cool to see this little CGI RoboCop, do all this and all of that. But I'm not. My adrenaline is not pumping. I'm not excited. I'm just seeing cool editing, cool CGI, and there's no investment on my part. The only time I invested is when I see those 3 great veteran actors on screen. And when they're not there, I don't really care. That's the thing that I hate, is that movie making now seems to be so just unmemorable. That there's nothing that's memorable anymore. I could look at you guys right now, anybody who 30s and up, and I could say Poltergeist. And any one of you watching right now could come up, they're here. Or one of you could think of, I remember the scene where Craig T. Nelson drank the worm and he vomited it out. Or the scary preacher guy. Right off rip. Because these are memorable films that set a bar. They're epic. They stay with you. You never forget. Jaws, we're going to need a bigger boat. Or we could think of the guy getting his leg ate off. Or when I think his name is Quint. When Jaws eats him and he spits the blood out of his mouth, when Roy Scheider shoots the tank and makes him, we could just, Total Recall, the girl with the 3 breasts, the original Total Recall. We just, Terminator, I'll Be Back. Iconic films. Robocop from 1987 is iconic. So it brings me back to, yes, this is not a bad film. Yes, it's faithful to the original by also being its own thing. And, yes, it's harmless. It doesn't degrade the original film like Robocop 3 did. But, again, why is it here? And money. Period. Money. Pure monetary. Not to create some new creative stuff that's on a whole nother level, a new epic film, a new Star Wars, a new Terminator 2, a new Predator, whatever. No. Pure monetary. And I don't care how many interviews I see on Entertainment Tonight about, the script was great and this, and that. You're just making this purely to be a cash grab off of a great film 25 years ago. And that's ultimately what just makes me depressed when I go to the movies now. Make something new. So, Robocop 2014, not bad. Okay film, but cynical, forgettable, cash grab that's slightly made better than piss poor crap like the Total Recall Colin Farrell remake, which is a complete turd. So those are my thoughts on it. Forgettable, harmless, forgettable remake, and I'm sure there won't be a part 2 which I'm happy. And the theater I saw it in, there weren't a lot of people in there, but me and my friend, and she thought it was okay. So, Robocop 2014. That's all I got to say. Anybody else have a different opinion? Make a comment below. Just harmless, but it just makes me feel depressed about the future of movie making. Just depressed. RMJ Movie Reviews Incorporated. I'm gonna be back with something that more puts a smile on my face and makes me feel good. So, peace out, guys. The opening title sequence to the show is gonna be coming soon. A real set is gonna be coming soon. Guest stars, theme song, all that kind of stuff. So, see you guys later. I'll be coming with the Mo Money review later on today. All right, check it out.